In less than 24 hours, they were back for the voting proper. They arrived early as the process was scheduled to commence at 8 a.m. In an orderly fashion, they filed into a long queue.
Sarah, I think you pre-printed his tag last night.
Security checks were carried out, and one after the other, the delegates were allowed into the hall. We observed some of the candidates as they arrived. They appeared relaxed and engaged in chit-chats with some of their supporters before making their way into the hall. It was not easy for the members of the media to gain access into the hall though, as we were told that we had been banned from covering the elections. It took the intervention of some senior members of the bar before we were eventually allowed in. Once the delegates make their way in, they first identify and tick their names on the register. Then they are handed a voting booklet. They congregate around the few tables in the hall and then begin to tick their preferred candidates. After this is done, they walk up to the boxes and cast their ballots. A few of the candidates and delegates share their thoughts about the voting process.
The process can be improved 100%. People have been on a line to vote for upwards of 2 hours, standing. Thank God it hasn't rained, because it rained early in the morning. When you get inside the hall to vote, the procedure is much faster because there's a delineation. You vote, you collect your voter's card according to either your branch or your category. And I would have thought that that would probably have been the same process that would have been utilized to come into the hall to vote. So instead of having one single line, if we had had 7 or 8 lines, one line for senior advocates, one line for perhaps 1 to 5 at the bar, 1 to 8 to 12, one for seniors, one for benchers, or even if it had been on the basis of branches, the same way in which we collected our voter's card, then really we would have finished by now.
Bar Association today consists of more than 70,000 people. And if we were to have an election requiring all of these to vote at one venue, it would probably be impossible. And so the delegate system seems to be an economical way of dealing with that. There are other ideas out there, such as voting in different zones and collecting the results. I mean, just like national elections, each branch votes there instead of bringing everybody together. But I think as time goes on and they will become more comfortable with and more trusting of our branches, we might be able to come up with a better system.
The candidates are entitled to know who and who are the registered voters are. Until yesterday, I never had an idea. And no other candidate did, hopefully. And I'm also aware that specific requests were made by a good number of the polling agents. You know, they were not released.
The whole thing has been so monetized, so the corruption is there very heavy. You are here, you can see what is happening, even you, journalists. The processes we went through, no governor could have gone through, no governorship candidate could have gone through what we went through in this election. Imagine us traveling throughout the length and breadth of the country, all the states of the federation, 109 branches. Sometimes we're on the road at 2, 3 a.m.
What do you think we can do to reform the process?
Well, I think whosoever wins among us must do something about our electoral process.
The process of voting lasted about 6 hours. And at the end, sorting and counting of ballots.
134, 135, 136.
Off camera, the electoral chairman, in answer to our inquiries, told Law Weekly that about 1,500 accredited delegates voted to fill 9 out of the 13 positions up for contest. 4 positions were unopposed, while there was no nomination for the post of Assistant Publicity Secretary. After the counting of votes, the winners emerged.
691.
ovation greets the announcement of the results, but more of that and the official announcements after this short break.
Alegeh Oyeregoa, SAN, having poured the highest number of votes cast for the office of President of NBA, is hereby returned as duly elected President of the Nigerian Bar Association. Is he here?
Mr. Augustine Alegeh emerged winner with 691 votes. His closest rival, Dele Adesina, had 370 votes. The only woman in the race, Funke Adekoya, got 255 votes. The other contenders, Niyi Akintola, had 126 votes, while Osase Rabo could only muscle 17 votes.
The election today marks a watershed in the history of the NBA. You have voted for change, and I assure you, you will get that change that you need. I want to say that running up to the election of today, a lot of things that ought not have happened. And I'll take it as a personal challenge to ensure that it never happens again. Because the things that happen demean the essence and the esteem of the bar. And I'll take it as a personal challenge, and I'll put in the front burner electoral reform, which is already contained in my manifesto, and now it is time to implement it. Because I strongly believe that everybody who voted today for me was quite aware of my plan to introduce electronic voting into NBA.
And days after the elections, reactions have started trailing the conduct of the polls. Law Weekly caught up with senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, who was also a delegate at the elections.
The most disturbing aspect was that among the main contenders for the post of the presidency of the bar, not less than 1 billion naira was spent.
1 billion?
Yes, not less.
Not less.
I even understand that a candidate spent between 500 and 700 million naira. Now, if you reduce, if you monetize.
No, but how do you come about this facts, these figures?
Well, I've done my homework, and I read in the, I think, Vanguard yesterday, that the candidate that won the election spent not less than 500 million naira. And that has not been denied. It didn't just start now, but it has reached a very disturbing level.
But how did we get to that stage where the election, the process has been monetized?
Well, it has to do with impunity in the society. We never follow our rules. And in the last 10 years or thereabout, every president had promised to reform the system upon his election. But at the end of the day, we are back to square one, or even worse. In 2012, the committee headed by Mr. Lanke Odogion, a former president, came out with a very fine report on the need to check the disturbing phenomenon of commercializing by elections. And the Okewale executive, said we're going to implement. But what happened? They felt comfortable, and now engage in the manipulation of the process to produce candidates of their choice. And you can't continue like that.
There's no doubt that there will be a lot more reactions in the days ahead, as many look forward to the swearing-in of the new leadership of the bar at the annual General Conference of the Association holding in Owerri, Imo State, from August the 24th to the 29th. here we are. We've come to the end of the electioneering process. It's been interesting, I guess, but in the days ahead, we'll tell you more about the process of the swearing in of the new leadership of the NBA. Don't forget that you can watch this program and past episodes of the program on our YouTube page and interact with me via any of the addresses on your screen. I'm Shola Sheyeli. Thank you for watching.